is all we need.
The Commanders are back to work as they prepare for their first divisional game of the season. We see how Washington can slow down the Eagles' ground game.
The Dotson, did he catch it? Yes!
Best hands in the draft.
And the Commanders have been perfect in the red zone this season. We send Logan Paulsen into the film room to show us why.
Samuel dives into the end zone! Touchdown! Curtis Samuel.
Welcome back, y'all!
And no one has had a hotter start to the season than Curtis Samuel. We go one-on-one with Washington's wide receiver. And welcome on into Command Center. I'm Julie Donaldson, and we have a very busy show for you today. London Fletcher and Santana Moss will be joining me in just a little bit, but we sent them out to the practice field to bring you your field pass. So that is coming up just a little bit later. We do start this show, though, with a very special guest. Coach, big week here, getting ready for the Philadelphia Eagles. They played on Monday night. You got to be able to see some of the challenges that they're going to bring with Jalen Hurts. My goodness, his ability to be able to run the ball. Where are you in trying to get the team set to be able to take this on first division game as well?
Well, that's exactly what it is. It's really about, if you want to win the division, you got to control your division. You got to win within your division, and you got to win at home. So with that mindset, that's what this week's about. It's about defending our own turf.
And we know that Carson Wentz, look, putting up touchdowns, putting up passing yards. This offense has the ability to be very potent and dangerous. What is the mindset coming in out of a game where it was kind of a tale of two halves to say, okay, we know that we can do better than what we did?
Well, in talking with Scott Turner about this, the biggest thing is about bring the energy from the start to the finish. Start that way instead of working up to that. So that's really going to be one of the things that we're going to focus on as we start to practice this week. Is everything we do is about, hey, starting fast, keeping that energy level up, maintaining it through the game, and being consistent to the end.
It's also a really big week for the franchise as well, because we're making an announcement here that there's a new sponsor for the practice facility, Ortho Virginia. Tell us how important this is to what you want to be able to do with the team as well.
Well, being able to call it Ortho Virginia Training Center at Commander's Park is going to be very important for us, because Ortho Virginia provides so many medical services for our players, coaches, and not just for them specifically, but for our families as well. So to have them behind us is going to be outstanding. It's
going to be absolutely great. We've already worked with a lot of their doctors as well with the players, and we see them being very hands-on, very attentive. So a great partnership. We're very looking forward to it and to the support that it offers you and the team. Thank you, Coach. So far this season, the Commanders have been a perfect 5 for 5 in the red zone, tying them with the Cowboys for the best in the league. Carson Wentz has thrown 4 red zone touchdowns, and his 77% completion percentage inside the 20 is tops in the league by quarterbacks with at least 3 pass attempts in the red zone. For more on why Washington has been so successful, here's Logan Paulsen inside the film room.
Julie, thanks so much. All right, we're going to take a quick look at how offensive coordinators stack plays and develop game plans for other defenses. Now, I think everyone remembers this play. We got Curtis Samuel down here on the bottom of the screen, and this is his touchdown. Going to short motion him down here inside of Terry McLaurin. And the reason you do that is to kind of get this man coverage off of him. You see how the cornerback backs up here? Again, that opens up this big void here at the bottom of the screen for someone to get open on a touchdown, which is what they're about to do. So great concept here. And one of the other things you love about it is it declares who's got who. So if you notice that this coverage player here followed him inside. So now Terry McLaurin is running a pick route here. He knows who he has to pick on. Let's take a quick look at that, right? So his eyes are right where they're supposed to be. He knows I can run a pick route here, and I'm going to run here to the flat. This player here is going to match Terry, and there's going to be, again, that huge void in the field off of this RPO action. And you can look at it and you can see Carson's vision the whole time. He's checking this out, following this here, while also getting ready to read the running back. So you have a run option and a pass option. The pass option is a great man beater. Love that. Now, fast forward to Detroit. Detroit, again, they are a team that was hyper aggressive, and this is something you see on film all the time, right? If you notice back here in the back of the end zone, there is not a single human being, right? They call this zero coverage. They are blitzing and they're playing some form of man-to-man coverage across the board. This allows for some variety and some wrinkles, right? So they start in a 3-by-1 here. If you remember, the last play was a 2-by-2. Little bit of window dressing by Scott Turner here to bring Curtis Samuel across the formation, right, to get to this 2-by-2 look again, right? 1, 2. It's the same exact structure as the play before. And just like on the play before, the outside guy is going to be picking for the inside guy, or at least that's what it looks like, right? And they ran this same play in preseason. It's all set up, all structured around each other. But good job by Scott, knowing this is in the game plan, knowing that this team has seen this, and understanding that, like we talked about before, there is nobody here who can match this concept if Jahan were to take this vertical, right? So I love that they kind of married those two concepts together, right, to get this really beautiful execution here, right? You get motion. Now we got to rematch who's got who. Do I have him? Do you have him? Who's got that guy, right? A little bit of miscommunication there just because of the motion, right? And it leads to something great because I think they're supposed to be kind of in a bracket coverage on Jahan, who again is running the pick route, and this guy has no help over the top. So not only are his eyes bad because he's not expecting to get picked, but the concept and the coverage dictate that the middle of the field is going to be open. And we mentioned the RPO last time. It's the same backfield action. This backfield action by the running back, it causes all these linebackers to step up into the line of scrimmage, right? Ensuring the throwing window, again, which we talked about before, for Carson Wentz. So great play design here, and I love the little half roll. Love the little half roll, love the little read. You say, why is the read important? The read's important because it holds our guy Hutchinson there for a second and allows Carson to get to the edge. See how this read here? It forces Hutchinson in here, gives Carson a clean edge, and allows him to kind of be able to throw the football under clean and no duress in the pocket. So love this play design, love how they stack this. And again, this is some of the nuance that goes into play designing, and I love it. Every single week, something different. It's fun to find those little wrinkles. Great job by Scott Turner on this play, finding something that's going to beat the Detroit Lions. What's he got in store for Philadelphia? Can't wait to check it out.
Coming up, wide receiver Curtis Samuel has benefited from some of the creative play calling from Scott Turner. He joins us to discuss his strong start to the season. And with the Eagles coming to town, we send London Fletcher and Santana Moss to the practice field to see how the team is preparing for their first divisional game of the year. Commanders wide receiver Curtis Samuel is back. He has scored in both games this season, giving him back-to-back touchdowns for the first time since 2020. His 15 receptions are good enough for fifth most in the league, and I have a feeling he's just getting started. Curtis Samuel, let me ask you, how are you feeling? Because we were calling that game and we go to celebrate the touchdown, and then all of a sudden I'm like going, oh no, he's not getting up. Are you physically okay?
Yeah, I'm physically good. I mean, the scoreboard probably had a lot to do with it. There's no need for me to dance with the scoreboard looking the way it was. I was a little bit tired, and I got hit in my lip a little bit, so I had to lay down on the floor for a little bit. Let me get myself back together.
Okay. Well, it's great to see you in the end zone. It's now the second game in a row we've seen that. You haven't been able to do that since 2020. Right. It's been a hot minute for you. How does it feel to kind of to be back doing what you know you're capable of and what this team brought you in to do?
It feels amazing. You know, I'm thankful to be able to score the touchdowns. You know, whenever I get the opportunity, get the chance. But pretty much it's all about scoring the ball. You know, just winning the game. So whether I do it, I block for somebody else to do it, that's all it's about. I'm definitely grateful, you know, to be able to keep scoring touchdowns 2 weeks in a row after everything I've been through last year. But I'm just grateful for the opportunities that Coach give me, you know, and trusting me to make those types of plays.
Opportunities, you said you were tired as well. I mean, they're using you a lot. This is the second straight game as well that you've had at least 7 receptions in a game. Are you physically feeling that, or is it like, is there a different approach and mindset you have to go into the game knowing that they're going to rely on you often and a lot?
It's just it's one of those things where I feel like I know I'm gonna touch the ball a lot. You know what I'm saying? That's something that I want, you know, and they trusted me to make plays when I do touch the ball. My mindset, every time I touch the ball, I got to make something happen, you know, and I feel like I'm doing that, and it's just about keeping it up.
Last season, you were saying when you were getting out there, you physically thought you could do it, but it's the mindset that's saying, okay, I can make these cuts. We're seeing you make some crazy cuts that we're feeling like you're breaking ankles and maybe even playing some hoops out there. Is that more physically, or is it that just the mindset to say, I can sit here and jerk the defenders back around?
Physically, I feel real good. I feel real confident in what I'm able to go out there and do, make guys miss. make those quick, fast cuts. You know, last year I didn't have the confidence, and I know I couldn't do it. You know, this year is a little different because I have the confidence and I know I could do it because I've showed myself throughout the whole off season. I did it in OTAs, and I'm continuing to do it now.
It's exciting to watch.
Oh, it's amazing.
I mean, you're in that room with Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson. They do some outstanding, amazing catches as well.
Yeah.
But like, do you guys kind of talk a little about that?
No, it's just one of the things.
Okay.
We got 3 guys in our room. Matter of fact, I can't even say 3. We got a whole room of
Right.
guys. You know, a lot of guys. Everybody got their impact. Everybody make plays all over throughout the field. But you know, when we're out there, it's just one of those things where we're just relying on each other. You know, when somebody make a play, it's like, all right, good play. You know what I'm saying? And then when I get my chance, I'm gonna do the same thing because we know we got the skill set and we got the talent, you know, to be able to do things like that.
What have you seen from Dotson? Because there's sometimes he brings that ball down and we're not sure how. Even Santana Moss at times will say, I'm dropping that.
No, he hands.
Yeah.
He got hands, and he's done it throughout training camp, OTAs, and he's continued to do it now. You know, you put the ball anywhere around him, you know he's going to make the play. And, you know, to have that type of skill set as a rookie, that's special.
Would you say you're the best dancer on the team?
By far.
Yeah,
I don't,
of course. If I asked
my
Chase Young,
confidence
he'd
is
say the
high.
same thing.
Exactly,
though, you know that,
but
right?
they got a dance battle with me. We could do it.
What about between Terry or Jahan as well? Yeah.
Terry, I ain't gonna lie, I haven't seen Jahan, but I know Terry can dance a little bit. He might not pull it out, but
Yeah.
Terry got some moves.
Yeah. From you, right?
I taught him a little bit in college.
Curtis, thank you.
Thank you so much.
This weekend, the Commanders will open up division play with a matchup against the 2-0 Philadelphia Eagles. Despite their record, Washington has performed well against their division opponents to start the season. The Commanders have won their first divisional game in 3 of the 4 past seasons, including the last 2 under Coach Ron Rivera. For more on how the team is preparing for their game against the Eagles, we send it to London Fletcher and Santana Moss at the practice field. This is our FedEx Field Pass, where Now meets next.
Tyler, we're down here looking at these linebackers, and they're going to have to be on top of their game going against this Eagles rushing attack. Number 2 in the National Football League, averaging 189 yards per game rushing. And you throw in a mix of not only just the running backs, but Jalen Hurts. He can hurt you running the football. So the linebackers are going to have to fit the run a lot better in terms of running, knowing where they need to be in their gaps. And also you have to account for Jalen Hurts with the quarterback keeps.
You know, being a receiver and being an offensive guy, now on this side, watching the entire team, offensively, defensively, special teams wise, you know, watching that game last night, I had so many questions for you coming in today. I'm saying to myself, London, how difficult or how would this present, you know, this matchup present to you as a linebacker, knowing that you had to account for 2 guys in the run game? And it's not 2 running backs, it's a quarterback that can be lethal in a run game and a running back himself.
When you add the quarterback to the run game, it puts so much pressure on you from a defensive standpoint because it's hard for you to be right in terms of, hey, they go run action, but if he has that RPO or that zone read, you have to step up to your run gap. But then if he decides to keep it, you have to get, you know, somebody taking the running back. Then you got to have somebody take the quarterback. Your secondary has to come into the run game a lot more. The safeties become a major aspect or a major part of the defending the run when you have that quarterback as another threat to run the football. And then we haven't even talked about the passing element of it. Mm-hmm. Say I'm covering the tight end in coverage, but I have the B gap, and they run action towards that, you know, run action. I got to step up to my B gap, but then my coverage
also know you got to get back to that guy.
So that RPO element of it just puts you in conflict.
Okay.
Because what the quarterback is doing, he's reading me. If I come downhill, he's gonna throw the ball to the tight end. If I stay back for my coverage, he's gonna hand the ball off to the running back, and that's how you get gashed in the running game when you have those elements of the quarterback and the RPOs.
So schematically, basically what you're telling me is damn if you do, damn if you don't. And the only way you can combat that is by just hoping that your look alone can detour them from doing one or the other.
It's gonna come down to also your D-line. They're gonna have to get off blocks. You know, they're gonna have to get penetration in the backfield. Penetration, I don't care what type of offense you're running. Defensive penetration in your backfield, it
solves everything.
It affects the running game a lot. The corners, they're gonna have the short end of the stick in terms of, hey, you guys may be manned up a lot because we have to put more of our resources to stopping the run. Safeties have to be involved in the run game a lot faster. We can't play as much two shell, cover two or quarters coverage, and we're playing 10, 12 yards off. We have
to get in their face a little bit
and play some 8-man fronts where the safety's down in the box. So those are the different things we'll have to do to stop this type of running game. And corners, you're going to have to hold up your end of the bargain. And we haven't even talked about the Eagles receivers yet, Tanner, and what they bring in terms of the vertical passing game.
That's going to be interesting because one of the things I've always said as a receiver, it doesn't matter, who you have on me. If you get a guy out there that's a pest enough and you bring the rush or bring somebody that's going to disrupt that quarterback's timing, then I'm covered. He has to get off his first read because now he might have to escape that rush, or he might have to go to his check down, or just get off that read because it's not enough time there for him to sit back there and take on what's coming to him. So that's the interesting, thing about what we do, because what we do a lot on the outside is we play soft coverage. And so it's going to be interesting to me just to see if we change a little bit, knowing that, the matchup will basically give us a layup and say, hey, just get in these guys' face. We don't necessarily have to press. You could just show them, you could present them a look and bail out do something different. So I'm definitely going to be playing close attention to see if our corners, do that this week, because I think we need to do that.
I know they're going to have to change it up. And I happen to be watching last year's game against the Eagles, Week 17, and what Jack Del Rio did. He brought the blitz a lot more. He brought Cam Curl. Hopefully he's able to play in this game against the Eagles, because he's going to be a major factor in stopping the run, especially as we go to our Buffalo nickel, the big nickel package. But different looks, bringing pressure, forcing, kind of dictating the terms of the agreement to the Philadelphia Eagles. That's what I'm looking forward to, Tanner.
Yeah, we got to be
Julie, that's what we're going to be looking forward to this Sunday at FedEx. Back to you.
Some good stuff, guys. Now, do not miss the first NFC East matchup of the season at FedEx Field when the Commanders take on the Eagles Sunday, September 25th at 1 p.m. Tickets start at $71 while supplies last. Get your official Ticketmaster verified tickets at commanders.com/tickets. Command the stands. And when we come back, the guys are going to be heading back up from the practice field to the studio. We're going to take a trip down memory lane to get their thoughts in the game against the Eagles from back in 2012. We have more Command Center after this. This season, we are celebrating 90 with Dominion National. We take it back to 2012, Week 16 against the Philadelphia Eagles as they were hosting Washington. London Fletcher had a second quarter interception against Nick Foles and a game-high 12 tackles, and then Santana Moss caught a 22-yard touchdown pass from Robert Griffin III to give Washington their sixth straight win, 27-20. And since they're both here with me in the studio now, let me ask you guys, London, what do you remember about that game?
Obviously, I remember that interception. I remember the first guy on offense to come up to me was Santana Moss, because I had picked off maybe like 2 or 3 passes in a row in consecutive games. And Tanner come over there, he's like, man, you stay picking off passes. But I knew we were on a run trying to make the playoffs, and we needed to get that victory against the Philadelphia Eagles, Tanner, especially going to a tough ball game.
Yeah, it stood out big for me just knowing that we had played them at home, and I had a big game. I had a touchdown at home, and then coming there, that touchdown decided the game. So it was real big, and just to think, man, that was 2012.
Yeah.
Wow.
10 years ago.
Well, you have to like it when a guy on defense has pretty good hands to pick them off. But talking about good hands, Santana, there's going to be a lot of guys that can make plays out there on Sunday. All right, I'm going to rattle off all these names, and you just tell me what you think about it. You ready?
Okay.
Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith.
I mean, that's a quarterback's dream to have all those guys. I think on our side, I'm gonna take us because we got to take the burden and go. But it'd be great, man, just to see those guys go out there and do their thing. I'm hoping that our receiver core comes out on top.
If you're a DB, what are you thinking, knowing that there's so many different playmakers on both sides?
It's gonna be tough. You guys, they drew the short end of the stick, so to speak, and especially on our end because of Philadelphia's ability to run the ball so well. You're going to have to be in a lot of man-to-man coverage where you're not going to have, safeties over the top all the time. And you're going to have to hold up, and they have the big play guy, Smith. He can take the top off the defense, but then you have the big physical receiver and the guy they traded for from Tennessee, AJ Brown. So that's going to be a challenge for us defensively because we're going to be focused on stopping that run.
And you mentioned stopping the run. They have the league's second best rushing attack, averaging 189 and a half rushing yards.
190. Just call it 190,
190.
Julie.
Might as well.
They don't have that extra half.
Round that up.
It's a game of inches at times in this, but according to the way that they run the ball, they can get what they want. The challenge of trying to stop that.
It's going to be a great challenge just in stopping Miles Sanders first and foremost. And especially the way we defended the run in these first 2 ball games. We're going to have to be better in our run fits, better in coming up, knowing where your gap is, and that gap can move if they're pulling linemen and pulling tight ends, things like that. Understanding where you fit and where your extra defender is, and then you throw in the mix the Jalen Hurts and his ability to run the ball. Now you have to account for him as a defense, and that's where the problem lies, and that's why Philadelphia is so difficult to defend when you're stopping the run against them, Tanner.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I asked you when I came in, how difficult it is to be a linebacker in this situation, knowing that you have a running back that can be so elusive in the backfield and a quarterback to have to worry about. I remember having those days when we had guys who can do it, but I think our team's up for the challenge. Got to bring some guys in that box, so those guys are going to be on the island on the outside.
Chase Roulier goes to the IR, the challenge of replacing him.
It's going to be a big challenge because the center, he's responsible for getting all your protections together, your line side. He's typically the smartest guy on the offense, so that's not just a little situation where you lose a left guard. Losing the tackle, losing your center, that's big.
And we saw on Monday night, Philadelphia, they bring a lot of pressure, that is for sure. We saw Detroit do that as well. Philadelphia doesn't let off the gas either, but we should see a lot of great offense going on in this game as well. So big test for the defense coming up this weekend. That's going to do it, though, for this Command Center. Thanks for joining us for Santana in London. I'm Julie. We'll see you next time.